welcome back. Still here in the Oaks Hotel, Burnley, England. And I found for my daughter for her 30th birthday an old childhood toy. And that toy is a hobby horse. And I made this funny video because her big 30th birthday is coming up. So let me know what you think. The Oaks Hotel Room, 2025. Getting ready for Sarah's 30th birthday. Look what I found for you, Sarah. The question is, do you think that she will laugh at the video? What do you think? Let me know when I get back. Thanks for watching. Try each problem on your own. So where we left off was problem number 8. I always like to draw the lost signs, whether it's side angle side or side angle, in the bottom left corner, just to kind of practice and get good at this, because this can be a little tricky. So we draw a dashed line, basically, because that leg could swing across and produce 2 triangles. Then you have to find all the sides, all the angles. So let's see, that's angle B is 36 degrees. And then across from big B is a little b, right? And then we'll just say that over here is angle A. We don't know it, but we do know that little a is going to be 5 inches. There we go. And beautiful. That should say the number 5. There we go. So then, there we go. So across from big B is little b, which is, little b is 8 inches. 8 inches. Sweet. Okay. So this could be pretty close. That 8 inches is smaller than the 9 inches. So we could, in fact, possibly have 2 triangles, but I just like us to basically investigate and see. So let's go ahead and give that a try investigating. And I think I grabbed the right one. I did not. Give me 1 second to double check. All right, where were we? There we are. Okay, so what you have to do is the law of sines, and then use 180 degrees as your tool. So to do the law of sines, you're going to go ahead and find an angle and find a side. And right now we've got an angle B with little b. There we go. And then we've also got big A with little a. And maybe I'll use a different color there. So let's, there we go. So we have little a with big A. Okay, so now we're doing, let's see here. So this is actually 5 inches. That looks kind of like sine. I think I need to erase that because that just looks a little deceiving there. It looks a little tricky. Okay, so what were we doing there again? Oh yeah. So this is going to be, let's see here, so that's going to be 5 inches basically. And so we're trying to find the measure of angle A. So we're going to go sine of missing angle A divided by little a, where little a is going to be 5 inches. So we'll get rid of that. So there we go, equals sine of big B. And so we do have big B. And so big B is actually going to be 36 inches, which we do have, so we might as well go ahead and use that. So that's going to be this guy right here, 36 inches. And so that's going to be all over little b. And so little b is going to be 8 inches is what we're using on the bottom there. Okay, so there it is. So you're going to go ahead now and multiply that over to the other side. Multiply what? We're trying to get sine of a by itself. So we're going to multiply by 5. Wow. We're going to multiply by 5 over to this side. So we'll put the 5 right in front there like that. And that's being multiplied there. And then how do we undo sine? Do you remember? How do we undo sine to the other side? And so we're going to go ahead then and inverse sine. And if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other side. So we're going to go ahead and inverse sine to the -1 of the whole other side. So again, let's write it all out. So that's going to be big A is equal to the inverse sine of 5 times sine, so 5 times sine of 36 degrees, close parenthesis, all divided by 8. So we're going to plug that now into Desmos. So 5 sine 36 over 8. Desmos, that was a funny video, new bold. Hopefully she likes it, thinks it's funny. Okay, so we're going to do inverse sine. Here we go. So we're going to go functions. We're going to go inverse sine of 5 times sine. Is that 38? No, 36. Yeah, so 5 times regular sine now. 36, close parentheses, divided by that opposite side, 8, close parentheses. And we need to make sure that we're not in radians, but make sure we're in degrees. There we go. So we're going to get 21.55. So that's going to be like 21.6 degrees for big A. So there we go. Okay, so right about here. So it's going to be equal to 21.55. It says nearest tenth. And so that's going to be 21.6 degrees. Cool. So now we found out what A is. A is 21.6 degrees. Awesome. So then what we need to do, which is kind of weird, is we need to actually check if a second triangle exists before we find the other two sides. I mean, we could find the other two sides. We could finish that really quick. So so we have the measure next of angle C, that's big C, is going to be those two angles minusing. So we get 180. We go minus 36. Good. As well as minus 21.6. So that'll actually give us angle C. So we go back to Desmos there, and we're going to do 180 degrees, minus the 36, and minus the 21.6 degrees. So that gives us 122.4 is then the other angle, right? So that's going to be angle C. And so that's another answer there, is 122.4 degrees. 122.4 degrees. So there's another answer. So we've got this answer, which is angle A. We've got angle C now. And so really the last one we need is little c. Now we can't use the Pythagorean theorem because it's not a right triangle. So we're going to have to use the law of sines basically one more time. Right? Use the law of sines one more time. So I'm going to do that up here. And so now we're going to do little c, which is what we're trying to find. We just found big C. And so big C was, what was that, 122.4. So 122.4 degrees. And now we need to find little c. Right? So what is little c? And that is not in degrees, so I'm going to erase it because it's not in degrees. Little c is supposed to be in inches. So So we're trying to find little c and inches basically. So again, we can't use the Pythagorean theorem. We do have to use law of sines. So we're going to do little c. We're going to flip the formula now. So little c over sine of big C, which is erasing. So I'm going to have to raise it up a little bit higher there. Thanks for your patience while I try to use the mouse to make this video over in England. Okay, so then let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we've got little c all over sine of big C, and big C is 122.4. So 122.4 degrees. And then we're just going to use the same one that we already gave us, which was big B and little b. So that's going to be 8 inches all over sine of, so that was little b, all over sine of big B, which is 36. So we got little b on over big sine of big B, which is 36 degrees. And now for this method of using the law of sines, where we actually flip the side length and the angle, we actually need to multiply the sine 122.4. So we actually need to multiply that to the other side. So we're going to go ahead and multiply that over to this side now. So now it gets multiplied, 8 sine of 122.4. And so we're going to actually plug that into our calculator, and that's going to give us what little c is. It's going to be our answer there. So let's go back to Desmos, so sine of 122.4, so sine of 122.4, so that's going to be, let's see if we get this right. Nope, I already forget what we were just doing there. Okay, so 8 times sine of 122.4 degrees divided by, okay, so now we're going to go and divide that. Divided by what? 8 times sine 122.4 divided by sine 36. So that's sine 36 degrees. Okay, so that's going to be 11.49 inches, which rounds to 11.5. And so that's going to be what little c is. Again, I just did that in our calculator, and that's going to be our answer there. So 11.49. So little c then is equal to 11.49, which rounds up to 11.5 inches. So those are 3 answers. So then, do we have a second triangle is the question. There's not a lot of room to do this problem. So I'm going to go ahead and do it down here, because we already figured out that 9 does not exist for, that's for number 9. Okay, so we're going to grab this guy, we're going to move it over for now. Awesome. Let's go and erase. Okay, so last but not least is, do I have a second triangle? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw that triangle one more time, but this time I'm going to swing that leg over. So this is 36 degrees, is what they gave us. So we're still looking at this triangle. We're drawing the dashed line again. And then they tell us that little b is 8 inches, which is from right here. And then we figured out what a is, right? So that's kind of the next step. And so we need to know, can this exist if we swing, right? If we swing this leg over, can it exist or not? So that exact 8 now is going to go here. And now what we have is an isosceles. Isosceles, is that how you spell it? So we have an isosceles triangle. Basically that means that if sides are the same, then so are, and so are the angles Okay, so that means if this is angle A, then that means also, this is the weird part now, hang in there, stay with me. So if that angle A is the 21.6 degrees, which it is, so that means this is still 21.6 degrees. This is where it gets weird. So that means if this is 8 and this is 8, and that's 21.6, then that also means that this guy right here is 21.6 degrees. That's what this angle is right here. Okay, so that we can use that information now to find this angle. Let me draw big one more time, because this is just not enough space to really show you what I need to. So now we're going to go ahead and say that this is 21.6 degrees, which is the same as this 21.6 degrees. And so and then this is going to be 8, and this is going to be 5, and this is going to be 36. So the real trick is how can we find this A? And so this A is called A prime. And so A prime is what that's called, A prime. It just means that it's a possible second angle A. So A dash is a possible second triangle angle A, basically. And does it exist? Let's find out. So then what we do is we go ahead and use 180 degrees now. So to find this angle, which is A prime, right? A prime is this angle right here, this angle. So we're going to take 180 and we're going to minus the 21.6 degrees, right? And see what that gives us. So then we go Desmos, 180 minus 21.6. So 180 minus 21.6 degrees is 158.4. So now that means that this angle is 150, what was it? 158.4 degrees. So now we have this triangle with 36 degrees basically. And then can there be 158.4? I'm going to go and type that in because I just can't see that very well. So this angle right here is supposed to be 158.4 degrees, basically. Right? So does that exist with the 36 or not? Interesting. Okay. So even though that's 21.6 degrees, 180 minus that is 158.4. Can those two exist? Okay, so what is 36 plus 158.4? Right? Question mark. So that is going to be more. That's going to be more than 180 degrees. So this triangle cannot exist because that's actually going to be what? That's going to be 158.4 now. So 158.4 is plus the 36 degrees. So that's going to be 194.4. So that's going to be 194.4. And 194.4 is bigger than, it's greater than 180. And so second triangle does not exist basically. Second triangle does not exist. So that means only one triangle exists, only one triangle exists. And that one triangle has angle C is 122.4, 21.6, and 11.5. Okay, so there you go. So that's kind of weird craziness, but I'll just show you kind of how that works with number 10. And then hopefully that'll give you the idea of what we're doing there. So, because that one I think does have a second triangle. So let's take a look at number 10 together. So we're going to go ahead and move all this stuff out of the way, basically. We're going to do some erasing here. I'll pause you while I do that real quick. Okay, so we're back just finishing up the idea of two triangles now. So here is number 10. And I'll let you finish it on your own, but because it's even. But basically you have your angle C right here, if it lets me. Whoa, what's going on? Okay, so angle C is 58 degrees. Why does it keep going back to the select tool? Stop going back to the select tool. I want to draw. Okay, so 58. Stop it! This is going to be a struggle. It's just going to keep going back to the select tool. I'm going to have to close this and reopen again because this is toast. Okay, there we go. Thanks for your patience as I try to teach you this from England. Okay, here we go. So we're doing the draw tool. So this is angle C basically at 50. This is not going to work. It's going to keep going back to that select tool. The select tool, and I do not know why. I do not know why. I do not know why. This is going to be trouble. Okay, so let's try it one more time. Customize the toolbar. Let's grab that. Yeah, just put that in there. I don't know. Why isn't it working? Okay, whatever. Okay, reset position. That's up here. I just want to draw. I don't want to do that. I just want to draw. Okay. So we have, this is angle C, which is 58 degrees that I'm going to select over and over again until it works, like never. There we go, and then this is angle C as well. And then we're going to draw that dashed line. This is not going to work. Oh my goodness, this thing is not working, and I tried to reset it, and I do not know why, but here we go. Let's try doing this. Dashed line. Okay, so we're basically swinging that line over and over again. Oh man, this is not going to work. I do not know what's going on. Please work for me. Let's see. There's our add your signature. We're trying to draw a line now. It is not working. I'm going to pause you one more time. We're almost there. All right. Thanks for your patience. It's crazy in the morning. Just finishing this up for you. So again, we're just trying to show you how this could be two triangles. So this is angle C, which is 58 degrees. And then we draw a dashed line, which is going to be across from big C is little c, which is 11.4 centimeters. And then they tell us that little b is 12.8. So if little b is bigger than little c, we actually should have two triangles. If little c is smaller, then it won't swing across and even touch the base of the triangle. So, but 12.8 is bigger, right? But I'll just kind of show you how to investigate this. So basically we use the law of sines to find across from big B, or little b is big B. And so we use the law of sines to find big B. And so that's sine of big B over little b, which is 12.8, is equal to sine of big C, which is 58 degrees, divided by little c, which is 11.4. And so we'll just go ahead and multiply now. Let's see, we want to solve for b. So we're going to multiply by 12.8 over to the other side. And then how do we undo sine? So we go ahead and inverse sine. That's sine to the negative 1, and that cancels that. So then you plug that into your calculator. And so again, when you plug that in your calculator, you're going to get big B. And so big B is going to be 72.2 degrees when you plug all that in. And then the question is that too big or not? And so we go ahead and take that line now and swing it across. And so if that's 11.4 right here, then this is also 11.4, as I saw this triangle. If this is 72.2 on the right, then it's also 72.2 on the left. And then this angle right here is going to be a possible angle B, but it's going to be called angle B prime. Okay, so now we're just going to see if that exists. And how we do it is this whole thing is 180. And so we go ahead and find this angle, because that's 180 degrees. So we do 180 degrees minus the 72.2. And then we go ahead and put that together with the 58 degrees. So 180 minus 72.2 basically. There we go. So we go 180 minus 72.2 degrees. So that's 107.8. And so that means that this angle is going to be 107.8. And I think that's just going to make it. Because now you add those two together to see if this third angle exists or not. So the question is, does that exist? If it does exist, then we have three triangles. So now we do 58 plus 107.8. Like that. Yep, so 165.8. So now we can do 180 minus 165.8, and that's going to give us a small angle, which is 14.2 degrees. So we have 14.2 degrees, which is now called A prime. So now we have B prime, which is 107.8, and then we have A prime, which is 14.2 degrees. 14.2 degrees, which is right here, 14.2 degrees. And now you can find C prime to finish off this problem, as well as regular C. And so I have to go to bed now because it's super late. And but thanks for watching, and ask more questions in class. And bye for now. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Bye for now. Bye for now.